For the second time in nearly 10 years, Devin Rayford, a lead officer for TSA, is not getting paid because of a federal government shutdown.
It's like slavery almost. So you're going to work, they're making us work, they're threatening us at the same time, but everyone pretty much is working for free. Nobody wants to go to work and work for free.
Rayford, who was also impacted by the 2018 through 2019 government shutdown, says he does not think this will end until after Thanksgiving. He tells WREG that this time of uncertainty has forced some airport workers to quit because they can't make ends meet.
We've been losing a lot of people due to not getting paid, so they've been switching occupations. And like I said before, the young people, they don't know like when their next check's coming in or when the next meal is coming in and to be able to provide for their families.
The father of two says he's had to dip into his savings account to take care of his daughters, but he doesn't know how much longer he can do it. With the holiday season quickly approaching, Rayford is calling on lawmakers to end this government shutdown now.
Lock in and get it done, because they're not the ones suffering from this. We're suffering from this. And like I said, nobody wants to go to work and work for free and not know where their next meal or check is coming from.
In the meantime, Rayford says he's contacting food banks and other nonprofits who can help his family and his coworkers who haven't been paid for weeks.
Hey everybody, welcome to On the Radar. Today is October 30th and it is the 30th day of the government shutdown. And yes, it's no surprise, it's not going to probably end anytime soon. I just wanted to come on here and let you guys know that, these essential workers, they're over it. All of them are over it. They're quitting, like the gentleman said. They are finding other ways to make money. They are going through it, and they shouldn't have to be going through any of this. And I wanted to, first of all, welcome to the show, guys. This week, this whole show has been a little wonky because I've been trying to figure out pieces of everything while doing it in real time. So I hope you can hear me today. I can see the comments on my right on TikTok. So if you can hear me, I'll be able to see that. If you're watching on TikTok, please like up the live. If you are watching on YouTube, please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and like up the YouTube live. That's actually where the main video is going to be on YouTube. What else did I want to tell you guys on that level? Thinking. Back to the shutdown. So I saw a video of, individuals handing out gift cards to TSA officers and stuff like that. Although that's really nice to do, it's kind, and they may accept it, they're not supposed to. And you may be doing them a disservice by giving it to them. So make sure that you do not do that. If you want to support, I am doing a gas gift card drive.
For the second time,
I'm doing a gas gift card drive. It's called the Airport Security Gas Drive, and we have already raised over $2,000. Our main goal is $10,000. We have 4 more days, really 3 more days to get this money. I already have a sponsor, which I'm very excited about, that is going to be participating in this, and they have also donated $1,000. So this number is really over $3,000. So the link is in my bio to donate so we can help these federal workers continue to get to work, because they really need a boost in morale right now, and they're going through it. Okay, so with that being said, there has been a lot of talks about strike. We need to strike. They need to stop going to work. The ATC needs to stop reporting to work. And I came across a very insightful, educational video that really goes into depth of what would happen if they strike.
What if every air traffic controller didn't show up to work? They went on strike or they walked out. Let's play it out. Across the National Airspace System, there's 10,400 certified controllers working in towers, TRACONs, and centers. And to provide context, there's about 1,900 frontline managers or supervisors. That's about one supervisor for every 5 or 6 controllers. And for more context, supervisors are not controller backups waiting on the benches. They're managers. They handle staffing, briefings, coordination between different facilities. And realistically, none of them have more than 1 or 2 sectors that they are able to work, that they are current on, that they have a certification for. And most of those supervisors work whenever there is no traffic. They keep their currency, which I think is only 6 hours a month, on dead sectors. So if all 10,400 air traffic controllers walked out, the supervisors would literally be useless. I mean, they already kind of are, but they would be more useless. Okay, now that we have context of staffing, what would happen if air traffic controllers just didn't show up to work? Well, every federal facility, all 313 of them, would be deemed ATC 0. Within hours, the National Airspace System seizes, hundreds of thousands of flights cancel. There is no longer IFR flying. Yeah, VFR exists, but for airliners, it's not a feasible option for them. So, just like in 81, supervisors are required to go to work and fill in. And we've talked about how they aren't certified on really any positions that are helpful, let alone to work traffic. And they cannot run 45,000 flights a day. Think of it like putting supervisors in charge of air traffic would be like putting a coach in charge of the game, where they would have to play all of the people on the field. They know the rules most of the time, they know the settings, but if you're playing 6-man football and you only have 2 guys, so, commercial aviation crumbles. Now we get to something that wasn't as prevalent in the 80s, cargo. Aviation is not just people, it's logistics. Over half of international cargo moves in the bellies of passenger jets. And when those jets stop, the global bloodstream clots. Semiconductors, pharmaceuticals, overnight e-commerce, FedEx, UPS, other cargo carriers are in the same spot that the commercial airliners are in. Whereas they can't fly IFR. By day 3, supply chains are cracking. Day 7, manufacturing stalls if it doesn't stall sooner. Day 14, medical, technical, defense all start to crumble. Now, the global airspace isn't a patchwork of local bubbles. It's all connected. When one node fails, its neighbors absorb the pressure. But if all the nodes fail, then the whole web falls apart. The first day, supervisors are, let's say, able to manage and get everybody on the ground. By the second day, the airspace is effectively closed. Airports are not ghost towns because people are stranded at the airports. International flights coming to the U.S. divert back to their home airport. Crew schedules collapse. Airlines could lose track of aircraft position. And then, okay, well, what if you just have like a private jet? Well, you still use the same system. So those corporate aviation jets also grounded. Business jets, charters, fractional operators, all grounded. From Wall Street shuttles to sports team charters, nobody's flying. The fleet that connects executives, investors, emergency contacts just ends. Okay, well, if the supervisors can't do it, well, surely they can be augmented by military air traffic controllers. Well, there's about 1,000 to 1,200 military controllers across all the branches. And they are incredibly skilled, but their work is different than civilian air traffic control. Military controllers work towers, approach controls, and range operations. They manage training flights, local patterns, and tactical corridors, not the continuous national grind that moves hundreds of thousands of people every day. The reason that it worked well in the 80s is because the U.S. had a large military-industrial complex because of the Cold War. They could take over some towers and some approach controls, but the big 430 airports, they would be completely lost without extensive training. And who's training them? The supervisor who's working 8 12-hour days? How can the stats and parts of this hypothetical situation are real consequences? An organ transplant can't move. A medevac aircraft crossing the country has to make multiple fuel stops, which only delays them because they can't fly in close airspace. Controllers don't just separate airplanes, they keep lifelines connected. And when those lifelines stop, the country feels it. Okay, so we've talked about the 45,000 daily flights. That would shrink to about 5,000 flights, mainly VFR. One of those would be something that can medicine, food, supplies, etc. The U.S. aviation industry touches over $1.3 trillion. And when it stops, everything that's tied to it stops too. Hotels, empty tourism evaporates, airlines burn through cash refunds and grounded flights. Cargo insurers and providing insurance mid-crisis. Every day of silence in the skies costs billions. And Wall Street would know this before breakfast on the first day. But let's talk about Congress for a second. The people responsible for funding the system would very quickly realize that now they can't use it. Every senator, every representative, every staffer stuck where they are. Can't get home unless they drive. And who wants to drive? because they're similar. Gosh sakes. No flights into or out of DC, no jets ferrying members home for the weekend, and corporate aviation can't save them either. Every government and charter aircraft rely on center coordination, and without it, Washington becomes an island you can't reach by air. But now let's say the strike ends. What happens then? The controllers come back, and silence ends. The system still limps, though. Controllers will have to regain currency if the strike goes on for a long time. Schedules must be rebuilt, aircraft repositioned, airlines untangle months of broken routing, possibly. For a long time, normal would mean slower, thinner, and more fragile skies. This thought experiment is not about punishment or politics. It's about how fragile the modern sky really is. 10,400 people hold up a multi-trillion-dollar economy. When they stop, everything from military flights to vacations, from corporate jets to congressional commutes, end. There's no second line, there's no reserve bench, and there's no plan B for air traffic controllers. Controllers are the invisible architect of freedom of movement. When their voices fall silent, you realize how dependent we are on people you can't see. Encouraging controllers to strike is a nuclear option. That's why we're not allowed to. The general public doesn't understand that if air traffic controllers strike, the country collapses. Air traffic controllers striking is not a viable excuse to end a shutdown. Air traffic controllers striking is a viable excuse to end the United States. And we're not going to let that happen. Ending the United States is not our responsibility.
So as you can see, I'm trying to get this stuff together in the background. I hope that this audio is fine now and the echoing has stopped. Let's continue the show. But like what he said, it's not feasible for them to strike. And it's really unfortunate situation because none of these government workers, these essential government workers, are surprised by this. I think that they go into this hoping that it never happens. I remember starting at TSA, they let you know that, hey, there could be a time or maybe a situation where you are not going to be paid for a period of time. And we all accept that. You go under the oath and you sign all these documents letting the people know that you're okay with it. And in some cases, you can probably even receive legal action for striking. They're not supposed to strike. So I know a lot of the, average travelers, like, why are they continuing to go to work? Because they're supposed to. They made a promise that they will. And unfortunately, they're in a situation where this government shutdown looks like it's going to be the longest one in history. It's day 30, and we have 5 more days for it to pass that 35 or meet that 35 historic number. The 2018-2019 one was 35 days. And I do see this one going past 35 days. I also see this impacting holiday travel. So we just need to have our guards up and stay. Of course, I'm going to keep on it and see what's going on. But, the votes right now it's not happening. I definitely don't see it happening before the midterms. And a part of me thinks this is going to go past Thanksgiving. So what are your thoughts about this government shutdown, and if you think it's going to go past Thanksgiving? On another note, we know about the storm that hit Jamaica, the hurricane, and I put out a video that, caused a little noise with some opinions regarding whether or not travel insurance was necessary. But I just want you guys to check out this video and let's discuss.
So why couldn't we leave when y'all fucking feeding us pastries for breakfast and we still had to pay full price to stay here? Like, come on.
May I ask where you're going now?
We going to get something to eat.
Everything closed across the street. Everything closed. Gas station, the shopping mall, everything closed.
So what are y'all doing for gas? You all knew this storm was coming, right? So you gonna give us bag lunches, bag breakfast, some pastries? That's so disrespectful.
So, who is responsible for this? I just want to hear your opinion first before I go into my commentary. Who is responsible for making sure, people have food? Is it the traveler or is it the location? Because I'm pretty sure they did know that the hurricane was coming. It's not something that just comes out of nowhere. There's news coverage. There people planning for this to come and all this kind of stuff. But if you already booked your trip, you probably are not going to not go. if you really want to go. But somebody else has another opinion about whether or not you should be traveling during hurricane season at all.
And y'all, this is a reminder. I don't care how cheap them flights are. I don't care how cheap those cruises are. You absolutely do not travel to any Caribbean island during hurricane months. I don't care if it's $5. There's a reason why it's cheap. You don't travel during hurricane season because, God forbid, if a hurricane comes, which they can't even predict it until it's like right up on you, by the time you find out that there's one in your path or on your path, now you're stranded on this island. You cannot leave because flights are not coming in and out. It's not worth it. Just wait until hurricane season is over. Hurricane season is from June to November. June to November. We don't travel to them islands during this month. June to November.
Listen, nobody is not going to book from June to November to go to an island. That's one of the best times to even go to these islands. I understand the hurricane. Yes, it's the hurricane season, but I'm going to tell you right now, you should not avoid booking travel during this season because it's just a hurricane season. This hurricane that just came through Jamaica, that's rare. Hurricanes don't really, it really depends. I'm not even going to say it depends. And somebody who's from Florida, they know when a hurricane is coming. You can make the decision whether you want to go or not on your own. I think a lot of people made the decision to continue to go because they spent all their money on these trips and they didn't have no type of insurance to recoup anything. And that's what I'm saying. When you are traveling on vacation or, these extravagant places, not to say like Jamaica, it could be extravagant to some folks, but you have to protect yourself. I don't understand why people budget for just the trip itself. Why don't y'all budget for extra expenses? Why don't y'all budget for, something that just comes out of nowhere, like an expense that you have to pay for? Nobody thinks about getting hurt at these places. Nobody, of course, you don't want any of this stuff to happen, but it can happen. You have to be responsible. And I just think that buying the flight, buying the hotels, and booking your excursions, if that's all you budget for, you are going to be as out of luck when something goes wrong, like what these folks had to endure during this hurricane. Check this out.
We got our pillows and blankets. We knocking on all the doors.
Take care.
On our way to the shelter. Like, how are we supposed to know to go to the second floor? Are we
There's no going to the second floor, my lady.
So if y'all have a second floor, why can't we go to the second floor?
Because it's full. All places, including the one that's on the ground floor on the other side, is full.
So if it was to flood in here, what do we do?
There's no, it's not going to be flooded.
Okay. All right.
The plane is going to flood.
I'm just saying. Because it's a reason these doors is padded up.
It's padded up because they're glass and we don't want a projectile flying through the window. Yes.
Okay.
You can't board up from water.
Okay. And what time they said we're supposed to start? We don't know.
We don't actually know. We're trying to get updates. We have a live TV that we're watching.
Okay.
It's almost past Jamaica, almost. But if it turns the prediction, if it's keep going the way that it's going, the prediction is not right, it's gonna pass Jamaica. Jamaica right here, the storm right here. But they say it's gonna turn this way to go up. And even Kingston is not flooded. And Kingston is a flood. Kingston is a flood-prone area. Right? So.
Okay, we get the point. Shout out to Dr. AJ. Shout out to Janice in the chat. I see you guys. Listen, I don't think that you could put all the responsibility on these hotels in these places the individuals stay. But I do have to say, like, no one who traveled there, you should not be oblivious that a hurricane was coming. They did know beforehand that this hurricane was coming. Maybe it was a few days before, but it was some period before that they knew that this hurricane was coming, and you should have prepared accordingly. You should have been prepared. Why do you even think that you will be able to fly out? Like, there's still people that's stuck there today that they won't. The earliest flight to leave is tomorrow. Like, you have to be prepared for this. And yes, they have to eat those additional costs of, those hotel stays. And I don't know how to feel about this. Should the hotel be obligated to just allow these people to stay in the hotel room for free? I mean, it's the humane thing to do, but it's a business still. And I don't know. And they're still providing some level of assistance. I don't know. It's a touchy subject. I just think that the traveler, all in all, you should be protecting yourself. And hopefully these places that you stay have something for you or have something to offer you. But you should be making sure that you have what you need, child, just in case. Moving on to the next story. Kind of going back into the government shutdown. So y'all know Flex from what's the show he had? I don't know what the show he had, but y'all gonna know when you see him. He was talking about I'm gonna let him tell the story, and I'm gonna give my commentary about what happened to him at the airport during this government shutdown.
What's up, y'all? So, yeah, there's so much craziness going on in this country right now. We got this government shutdown, and let me tell you, it affects everybody. It's just affected me. So I'm traveling, going through security, and you got to separate your laptop from your backpack or whatever you're carrying. So I put it in the bin together, and then they separate my laptop, put it in another bin. I don't know this because as I'm going through, it goes off. Guys like, you got to go back. I'm like, I don't have anything. I don't have anything on. Go back through. Okay, now you got to go to random screening. So now I'm like frustrated. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll go there, go out, grab my stuff, and go, and I leave. So now I get back home and I realize, I don't have my laptop. I'm like, what the heck? So I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, I know where it's at. So I do find mine, and it is, I see the location, right? So I drive over there, and I'm like, oh, this is the TSA Lost and Found office. So I go there, and it's closed, right? Government shutdown. There's a sign, closed until further notice. So I see this brother. He tells me, hey, man, give me a call. I'll check. I'll talk to the big boss. I call. He hits me back. Hey, man, unfortunately, we shut down. So now I can't get my laptop. Can't get my laptop. Got a couple of DJ gigs coming up. All my music is on the laptop. I have some other things going. Have writings and other things in my laptop, and I can't get to my laptop. I go to the airport. Hey, you guys have a TSA office here? Nope. Okay. You think somebody can come over there and just open the door? Nope. When I was over there, I see another guy who's there. He doesn't have his wallet he left in the bin. They won't open to give him his wallet. And he needs his identification and everything else. So it is affecting everybody. Trust me. I feel bad for them because they're going to work, not being paid. It sucks. But I need my laptop. I really need my laptop. I really need my laptop.
Okay, a couple of things. First of all, I'm sorry that he's going through this because no one should be without their items when they know where they are. They should be able to collect them. But there's just some things that's a little weird to me. And I know every airport is different, but I want to share what the usual process is. But first, what he said about the TSA officer taking his laptop out of his bag and putting it in a separate bin, depending on the lane that they were in, that is very possible. And that's probably what happened. If you leave something in, and sometimes the officer would not let you know this is happening, which they're supposed to. So because You didn't take it out, so you're expecting it to be in there. You're not looking for it to put it back in. So that was negligence on the officer's part for taking it out and not notifying the passenger that, hey, your laptop is in a separate bin. Don't forget it. So that's an unfortunate situation. The second point is there's TSA doesn't hold at most airports. Let me preference that. TSA doesn't hold on to your lost and found. The airport has a lost and found. Like TSA doesn't have at most airports doesn't have a lost and found office. You can go to your local airport's website, even go to tsa.gov, and they will give you a list of all of the locations for all the airports around the United States where their local lost and found is. Now, TSA will hold on to that item for probably the duration of the day. Once the checkpoint closes, they're going to be sending these items to the airport lost and found, where you will go in the next day or whatever time you can, or send somebody in the behalf to claim your items. With him saying that he cannot collect his items during this government shutdown, I don't know what airport he's talking about. I'm assuming LAX, and if it is LAX, I know that that place is not closed. So I'm not really understanding what the issue is there. But I just want you guys to know, if you ever leave anything at a TSA checkpoint, if you are still at the airport before you get on your flight or leave, go back to the checkpoint if it's still open. It'll probably be there. If it has been days since you have left your item, it's not going to be there at the TSA checkpoint. It's going to be at the local airport lost and found. And they have their own process with how to give you the items. On that, our last little story that we have is a boycott. Are you guys going to participate in this blackout? Let's see what's going on, child.
From November 25th, 2025, this year, to December 2nd, they're calling it a mass blackout. Not a march, not a protest, no signs necessary. It's 1 week where we pull our dollars out of the system and see what happens when the economy feels the weight of our absence. Because we've marched, we've begged, most of us voted the right way. And now we're just going to sit back and test the one thing this country truly worships: money. See, this isn't the first time we've tried this, right? Economic boycotts have always been the heartbeat of real change, from Montgomery to Operation Breadbasket. When the buses lost money, segregation fell. When companies realized ignoring Black consumers meant losing profit, they started hiring, promoting, and pandering. History has already shown us that pulling our dollars hits harder than any speech, any march, any protest ever could. The timing isn't random. Black Friday is the biggest spending weekend in America. Billions get poured into corporations that barely reinvest in the communities that made them rich in the first place. So from November 25th to December 2nd, the goal is simple, okay? Buy nothing that doesn't circulate back into us. You hear me?
So, we've tried these blackouts multiple times. It kind of worked with Target, but we saw that Target, is starting to eliminate all of these corporate workers because of this. Listen, I just think that we are in a bad time right now, and the timing couldn't be worse. It is the holiday season, and a lot of people, I understand the blackout, but a lot of people look forward to this season so that we can kind of boost our spirits, And the young lady said to put the dollars back into our communities, into our businesses and stuff like that. And I get it. But it's just a rough time right now. I know for me, my mother wants me to come to Miami for Thanksgiving. I don't know if I want to travel right now. Honestly, I don't. But I haven't made my decision if I'm going or not. But right now, all I have to say is we have to make sure that we are getting the right information, because there's so much conflicting information out there right now. No one knows what to believe. No one knows what to trust. This is when you lean into the people that you frequent, that that you somewhat trust, or you do trust. I hope that I'm a trustful figure for you in the travel space, and I want to make sure that I'm providing information to you to keep you educated and informed of what's going on. We just heard what happened with CBS. They just cut half or multiple newsrooms. This is a horrible time that our legacy media is being stripped basically from existence. And now we are migrating to this type of style media where we are trusting independent folks to give us the news. It's a shift in time. It's really interesting to be in right now. And I hold a huge weight of responsibility to, provide consistent, actual, factual news within the travel space. And I just encourage you guys to find the folks who you trust and lean in and support their channels and whatever they're doing so they can continue to give this type of news. Whew. Child. With that being said, that's the end of today's show. I hope it went a little smooth. This was the first week of the new setup. Y'all, I'm my own producer. I'm my own writer. I'm my own, the host and everything. And I think that I did a pretty good job with what I got. So I'm excited for next week. I'll be back on Monday going live. If you are subscribed to the Gate Access newsletter, you will get information regarding the gas drive. Please donate. We have a couple more days to get those funds up to $10,000. I know that we could get some more. What am I doing this weekend? I have a couple events to go to. On Saturday, I will be going to a networking event, which I'm excited about. So TBD on that. And on Sunday, I was actually invited to a Tyler Perry screening. I don't know what the movie is, but I will be there. I know it's not Why Did I Get Married because they're still filming it, but I'm excited to see what it is. It's going to be my first movie premiere that I go to, and I'll let you know all the highlights on Monday. Until then, you guys, please stay safe. If you see something in the street, send it to my DMs, child, and I'll put it in the show because this is what the show is about. What's on the radar?